Alright, working on this thing here today. Working on the ABS delete for this JZX81. I don't know if you can see it on the plate, JZX81. So here was where the ABS and traction control. Yes, this thing had traction control. It's a 1990, it had traction control. Crazy, I know. Anyway, this huge ABS module was here. Weighs like 30 pounds. It has been removed. Still working out what to do with all this extra harness stuff. But anyway, I had a bunch of lines coming from here to here. What I've so far done is I've decided that's where I'm going to put the Wilwood bypass valves. What this does is allows to have front in, rear in, front in, rear in, rear out, front out, and then you allow to adjust the pressure for the front and rear. I've already cut the lines and bent them, and the ones down there, they're for the master cylinder. I just need to flare them. I had a flare tool from AutoZone yesterday that's kind of janky. I don't know. So I borrowed this one from one of Jeff's friends, Johnny. He says it was his grandpa's. It's really old. It feels like it's a piece of metal. You know, not like what was in there. Hopefully I don't F this up.
You fucked up, bitch.
Language.
I say I hope I don't F this up because yesterday, while trying to bend some lines, has these little small hairline cracks, which that's not going to hurt. You know. Plus, hope I don't fuck this up because these are all cut to length. So if I mess up, let's say these, or even this one, which goes to the driver's side. See how it's curved right here? If I mess this up, this whole line's going to have to be replaced. What I've been trying to do is, since I had ABS lines coming all the way over here, multiple ones, like 3 of them, I've been trying to reuse the Toyota stuff. You know, keep costs down.
You cheap bastard.
I only had 50 cents.
First thing I'm going to do is, I got this little test one ready to go. So, I could get away with just a single flare, where you just put this on here and flare it out. But these are all double flare, so I'm going to try to keep that going, so to speak. Well, this thing won't go high enough to fit over this thing. Now granted, you're really supposed to do all this in a bench vise, but not that easy for me. Let's torque it down, let's see what happens. Alright, can't really tell, but what it did basically is it went in there and kind of pushed it out. So now, when I go back over it, it wants to spin like off axis, which it's doing now. It's supposedly done, but it does not look like the flares that are on these Toyotas. So I don't know if you can see that how big that flare is? That thing looks tiny. I don't know what's going on. So, kind of decided to stop because what I've noticed on these test ones is what keeps happening is that bubble flare part started. But when it does seem to start, I was like, okay, it's going. But then I take it off and I'm like, What I just found out recently was what's happening is when it's loosening up and it's like, oh yeah, it's starting to go, it's actually pushing the line down. That's what's making it so easy, is because the line is slowly being pushed down. Alright, so hopefully you can hear me over the air conditioner. So I talked to Jeff and someone else, and from what the consensus is that this line, this OEM line, is too thick for the double flare. I would probably need some type of pneumatic device to be able to fully do the double flare. Whereas if you got some soft line from like the parts store, I say soft line, some steel tubing from the parts store, it'd be a softer metal versus this OEM stuff. And I kind of was thinking that because I kept looking at the wall thickness on this stuff versus what I was seeing in the videos. I was like, I think my stuff's a lot thicker. So what Johnny said last night and what Jeff said was like, just do a single flare. because I think I can do a single flare with this, and if I can, I'll just do a single flare and it'll seal up. It won't be a double flare, won't be as tight, but it'll do the job. So I'm sitting here in the van. Before I go anywhere, I'm going to try to do that here in the van. So first things first is to get this loose, because to do the single flare it has to be much lower than it currently is. Like I said, I think I can do a single one with the tool. The tool I got from Johnny would definitely do this, but it's in the back of the hatch. It's in the back of the van, so I don't want to get it right now because it's hot outside. The biggest thing was I was not the only one that was struggling with the other thing, so I knew it wasn't me. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out either. So I guess I got to figure out another solution. That or replace all the lines. Ain't that some shit, huh? We were having this problem with the stock AutoZone ones, just splitting them, and also with Johnny's like old school iron one. But eventually found a solution. This one was made with Jeff's personal new thing. So when I first started this endeavor, he was like, "Nah, just go to the auto parts store or use Johnny's, because mine, I have one brand new, but it's overly complicated. It's too difficult to use." It's not. This is it. It's one size only tool. First flares it out, and then you flip the tool, the other piece around, which is another thing. Flip it around, boom. It's super simple. And this is from Eastwood. Well, this one's not from Eastwood, but it's basically an on-car one. It's designed specifically for a certain size. Here's the problem. Jeff has not used this other than the flare, this guy, this test one. So Jeff won't allow me to use this on my car unless he uses it. He wants to be the first one to use it. The problem is Jeff's got other things on his deck of things to do, and I don't want to wait 6 months. So what I did was I ordered my own. Alright, so I had to clean off a little more rubber on this end to get that thing going there. So if I understand, you put this in, which is the stopper. Alright, and I don't know if you can see it through there, but I gotta then slide the tubing in till it hits that thing. So, which I might have these guys a little too tight to do that. That's tight. Then take the stopper out. A little, Alright, and we basically went to where won't go anymore. Get a little bit of grease back on it. Put it in. Tighten it. Take this out. Alright, so I'm done. This is the new double flare. Looks a lot better. And it looks similar to the original Toyota one. Alright, so I got them all done here. This one was really difficult because it was right on the line. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna probably have to loosen this to get this one in here. Loosen this bolt so I can kind of angle it more towards this, and then kind of straighten it all out. But yeah, so they're in. They're all tight. They're not super tight. I need to get the flare nut and tighten it down. I had to completely unbolt this guy, bring it out, let all these bolt in first. Just get a couple threads on these, get these in, then tighten, then pull this back and put that screw in. I also kind of feel like since I had to cut away so much of this rubber stuff to get these and cut away some of the coating, I think I need to come over this with some paint. EOR 15. This is the stuff I used right there to repair the rust. The line is steel, which is what's underneath here. and then on top of it was a coating, this greenish gray coating, and then there's these rubber kind of like shielding, heat shielding. Problem is I had to get all that off. To get all that off, I kind of cut into the gray stuff, as you can see. Jeff has suggested is to cover it up because it will rust, as he said. I kind of figured so. I was just going to put paint, but he says to use the POR15. They're all taped up. Now, Jeff said to use a small bristled brush, because it's very fine. I didn't feel like going to the store and spending like $5 on a bristled brush.
Well, you cheap bastard.
So I have a toothbrush kit for cleaning, so I'm going to use a toothbrush. So I've kind of put a first coat on all this with the POR15. I don't have brake calipers on the front. I just ordered some from Power Shop by Max. They're out right now. They're not supposed to get any for another month. So I won't be bleeding these brakes until I get those. I have rears, but they're Nissan rears, and it says Nissan on them, Z32. They're Z32 calipers. So I'm waiting for some kid to buy them, swap me out. He's supposed to buy some Power Shop by Max because he has a Nissan. He wants to put Nissan ones on. I'm putting these on Toyota. I don't care they say Nissan. I'll shave the Nissan part off. I don't care. The OEM ones that say Nissan rear are kind of hard to find. So I offered the kid, hey, these have been rebuilt. They got fresh pads on them. You go buy some Power Shop by Max one. We'll swap. For the next video, I'm going to be putting in the accelerator pedal. Because as you see right here, there is no accelerator cable or pedal hooked up. I didn't realize that when I bought the car, it was missing one. I thought I saw one in the car somewhere, but it was missing. So I need to put that in, and I'll go over all that stuff with cable and stuff like that. But anyway, till then, subscribe, like if you like the stuff. I'm a fuck up. I don't know what I'm doing.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
I ask Jeff for advice, and sometimes he gives it. But yeah, cross the fingers this car is running this year. Anyway, till then.